Nadia!
Hey.
Oh my god, I am so happy to be talking to you. We actually got to chat right after season 1 of Indian Matchmaking was released, but now season 2 is out. So how you doing? How's it all been for you?
I'm good. It's been just as crazy as it was last time, but totally in the best way, connecting with people like yourself, and others. And yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, and I know like I have to say kudos to you because I think the thing with reality TV is it can go any way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this might be an experience for you this season. I don't wanna put words into your mouth, but I feel
Yeah.
like, it was just such a big difference in terms of, like, season 1, the reception to season 2. So how has it been for you so far just dealing with a lot of the feedback that you've been getting from season 2?
It's been really hard, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, because I know the truth, and I'm not gonna sit here and tear apart every single thing that was, misrepresented, in my storyline. But I mean, it's tough when viewers take everything very literally, and that for me is what's been the hardest, because they think that what happened between Shekar and I on the cameras was what actually happened in real life. But I think people forget there was basically 2 years in
Yep.
between.
The important thing for people to also keep in mind is it's a show, right? Like, this is for our entertainment, and it's
Yeah,
also like, people make mistakes. We make mistakes. I don't think
yeah,
that any of us can reflect on our own relationships and be like, we were perfect. I think I just wanted to get some clarification from your end as well, because I know you've been
yeah,
super open and saying that you were open with Shaker, like you had a boyfriend in between
yeah,
filming for a year, and
yeah.
it wasn't something that you kept a secret. But I think something that is on people's minds and why they're so confused is, why was he so shocked that it didn't work out? Like, where was that confusion coming from? Like, were there loose ends? What was going on in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's my question too, because after seeing his reaction to our call, I was like, wait, Mm, I was even confused
Mhm.
by his reaction. And I understand, everyone kind of has to deal with their emotions in their own process. But I mean, yes, I had a boyfriend for a whole year in between this time, and the three of us would FaceTime. And he met Shaker because Shaker was a really good friend of mine, and we would talk very frequently. And so I'm unsure of where his reaction was coming from. But it's maybe not easy to see that happen. But also, we were never together at any point in those 2.5 years. And so for me, as a single woman, I saw a guy who was charming and cute and charismatic, and I was like, I would like to kiss him.
Yeah.
And so that was what happened with me. But I mean, there was no infidelity, if you will. And
Right.
so I'm unsure where the reaction would come from, because even if he was upset that I had a boyfriend, or that even that moment happened, that was never even expressed to me at any point. And so I had no idea he was so upset until I saw the show and saw his reaction.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah,
that to me is even more surprising because it's like you're watching this, you obviously don't know how it's going to be edited, what's going to be
right.
shown. So after that moment, when you saw like how that reaction was shown, did you guys end up talking? Like, did you reach out to each other or no,
We
not at all?
have not spoken since probably December of last year.
Mhm.
He just kind of exited our group chat. My Me, Jay, Dillip, and Shaker had a group chat. He kind of exited the group chat, and we haven't heard from him since. I honestly don't even know what I would say to him if we spoke right now, because I did nothing wrong. And I'm sorry his feelings got hurt. But like, if you're upset about something, talk to me about it.
Mhm.
Don't sit there and passively aggressively, say it on camera, but not tell me. Like, I'm a person, we have a history with one another. And so even just a friendship, as a friend, like, hey, I didn't really like this. It made me feel a certain way, whatever. The communication was just never really there.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to remember about these shows as well is like you have a real life outside of this.
Yes.
And you know, people really get into the whole drama of the shows, and I totally get it, right? Like we love shows because of drama, because of entertainment, but outside of that world, you are all real people, and
Yeah.
people are going to react very strongly to what they see on these shows.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's super important to like, yeah, enjoy the show, but also like hear what is going on and like how everybody
Yeah.
else is feeling about the situation. And so I guess in this specific relationship, it's not like you would reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry," because you don't feel like there's anything that you need to apologize for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if his feelings were hurt in the process, but I mean, this is also part of dating. He had 2.5 years from the day we first met to now to tell me, how he felt, what he wanted to do, what his intentions were. And that was just never communicated. And so I really don't even know what I would ask him. My one question would be, what made you so upset about that? But at this point, it feels like water under the bridge.
Yeah, and communication is very key to any relationship. So,
Critical.
okay, no more
Yes.
talking about Shekar. We're gonna move on to
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yes.
So, I think in this day and age, people are very confused when they watch the show. Let's say that they're not, culturally Indian. They watch
Mm,
the show and they're like, "Why on earth are you using a matchmaker? Because we have apps, we have all these ways of connecting people." So for
yeah.
you, why was it so appealing to go through a matchmaker like Seema Auntie?
Well, my parents were a match wedding and they've been married this November will be their 40th wedding
Oh my
anniversary.
gosh! Wow.
And so for me, it was like I've seen so many instances of match weddings being successful in my own family, my immediate and extended family. So I, wanted to explore that as an option for myself as well.
And did you find that there were like more pros and cons to going through a matchmaker versus like using apps, for example?
I don't know if there are more pros and cons for me. My thought process was like, hopefully the people that she's working with, her clients, are a little bit more serious.
Mm.
Just in because on the app, like you don't know what people's intentions are, or what kind of stage they're at. And so that was one of the things that also really drew me to that process. But I mean, the nice thing is that she can kind of vet through
Yeah.
her clientele or her, now she has a spreadsheet versus before she had her book. But she can vet through her spreadsheet and bring you the best options. And so
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a pro rather than you having to like, going to like that swiping black hole, if you will.
So are you still working with Seema Auntie, or are you just kind of like, nah, I want to do things on my own now?
I am not working with her right now, but I'm definitely taking a little bit of a break. It's been just a lot after the show has come out, and I don't really want to bring anyone into the mess that is my life at this
Oh
moment.
no. But
Yeah,
honestly, Nadia, like I have loved you since season one.
I
And
appreciate that.
I just feel like you are a genuine character, and what you see is what you get, right? And even from the first time I talked to you, I got that feeling from you.
Thank
And
you.
also something that's so cool to me is your Guyanese.
Yes, girl.
For our Guyanese representation on the show, I think that is so commendable. That is so cool.
Thank
But
you.
you're on a show called Indian Matchmaking. So, did you have any experiences where people found out that you were Guyanese and they were kind of discriminatory against you and you weren't taken as seriously? Because I imagine that is
Yeah.
actually a real problem.
Oh, well, I don't know if you've seen Reddit at all, but I read a Reddit thread where which Reddit is such a black hole, by the way.
Yes.
Um, but read a Reddit thread about Nadia's Indo-Caribbean, so why is she on a show called Indian
Ugh.
Matchmaking? And this was a big insecurity that I shared in season one about being Indo-Caribbean and not really being accepted by, one, my ex-boyfriend, and two, just, mainland Indians, uh, throughout my life. And then that was kind of like twisted around. And for me, using that against me has been really hurtful, because it's like this was something that has taken me a long time to get so comfortable in my own skin and be able to bring my whole self to scenario, different scenarios, or places that I find myself in. But um yeah, it's very hard to be that representation on a show called Indian Matchmaking when you are Indo-Caribbean. But it's not even about representing Indo-Caribbeans, it's about representing anybody whose family left India and settled somewhere else in the world.
You've been in previous relationships. Was there ever a point where somebody that you were with found out you were Guyanese and they're like, "Oh my God, this is the problem." And if that has ever happened, how do you deal with that?
I did have an ex who didn't even like listening to soca music. We would be in the car and he's like, "Can we change this?" I'm like, "This is my car. If you don't want to listen to the music, like you get out."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so things like that, and so I would, at the time I was changing the station, I would change the Spotify station and we'd listen to something else. But now it's like, this is my car. This is what I feel like listening to. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hide my soca music. I'm not gonna hide the fact, I mean, I just was in Toronto for Caravana,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Oh, look at you. What are you wearing? This costume is so disrespectful." I'm like, this is the culture. And this is, part of, being West Indian. And so it's something I'm so proud of now. And like, if that person that I'm with can't accept that, or the person I'm dating or trying to date, then they're obviously not the right person for me. So
Yeah.
at this point, I'm not holding really anything back.
Have you had any questions about like why are you only sticking to Indian people and brown people? Like, why are you on Indian matchmaking? Why aren't you just like connecting with everybody that you're around?
Yeah. Oh, I get that question very often, like, why Indian men, or why only brown men? And that's not the case at all. I am open to any and all. And so that is putting that out there,
Yeah.
thing one. And it just, for me, it's like an ease of understanding that is somewhat baseline already there when you have someone who either is West Indian or is Indian. And like, I've done Indian dance, and this kind of journey that I've been on of like connecting back to my ancestry. And so even when I went to India, I felt so comfortable there. And so it's something that like is a nice to have, but like I am not opposed to anyone else who may, walk into my life. So yeah, to dispel any rumors that I only want to date brown men, that is not the case.